4 fastest and cheapest Madden 20 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, EasyMut.com. Use code VENM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up, guys? VENM here, back in the video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to run an insane blitz here out of this 3-4 even formation. It's going to be a very unique blitz, one that you guys have probably not seen before, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of unique things out of the formation before we get into the blitz. Now, right off the bat, I want to mention something in the 3-4 even formation. It's going to be in our packages, and you just flick your right stick to the left twice. That's going to pull up the strong safety at linebacker package. Now, if I click my formation, head to the individual substitutions and head over to this linebacker right here on the left, you guys will see we got Taylor Rapp here, which is just going to give you more speed for the blitz. Now, if your opponent's running the ball, I recommend getting out of this package, but for Ultimate Team, I would recommend putting just your starting strong safety, the one you want to play right here at strong safety number 2. It's not really going to make a difference other than your overall, but that's basically just going to make sure that your strong safety 2 is actually at strong safety, and that you're maybe just a fast guy, someone who's not that high of an overall but has like 90 speed. Just put him right here. That's where Taylor Rapp will be. Now, you also want another fast linebacker right here on the outside. We got Dante Fowler. He will do the trick right there. And that's pretty much it for the rest of the formation. Obviously, you want your users up here with Eric Weddle and John Johnson. But, yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go over a couple of different plays. Outside linebacker strike 2, as well as this pinch buck O. Let's get into this pinch buck O. I know it's pinch buck 0. I just call it pinch buck O. So let's just head into that, and I'll just come out in, let's say, a gun bunch formation. Very good for blocking and such. So let's just run verticals. Now, right off the bat, you guys will see the only adjustments I'm going to go ahead and do are blitz all linebackers, just because that right of screen middle linebacker is going to be manned up on the running back. So we're going to go ahead, blitz all linebackers, and then we're going to also just press, and then we're going to press again, contain, and then press again. Now, basically, you just want to keep pressing. That I haven't actually seen that before, but if your player doesn't show up in the gap, then you just have to keep pressing, and then eventually they will. I'm not sure if it was glitched there, but usually it doesn't take that long. I think it might have something to do with the route that the running back was on, and since it wasn't already in a block, sometimes you will see that right of screen middle linebacker already come in the gap, but that's pretty much it. You're just going to blitz all linebackers, contain, and then press. You can always individually back these guys out, especially this guy on the left, because if he can get burnt, so you can just press Y, A, X, and then that left stick up, just so that you don't get burnt by a streak. You could also shade to the outside to give him outside leverage. Maybe if you had an outside fade or an old school fade, something like that. I usually like to press these guys on the bunch, but this is just straight man coverage. You have to be very careful with the corner out, but with my user, in this case I'm using the free safety because he's on the single receiver side. I'm just going to basically sit in the gap. Here I'm just blocking 6, and you guys will see it's obviously in the screen. What you want to do in this gap right here is you kind of want to engage with the center. If you don't, it's obviously perfectly fine, but you kind of want to engage with at least the left guard or the center, someone like that, and then you want to get back as fast as you can, especially if he has the tight end on the route. There you guys see, again, it screams. So once again, here the setup, it's just going to be blitz all linebackers, press, and contain, and then I'm just going to press again to get this other player in the gap. Now, I'll actually probably audible to a different play, maybe just a flood play in my second setup, just because we kind of want that player to go in the gap automatically. It doesn't matter, you can just spam press and he'll get in the gap, but it's just a little bit annoying. But you guys see, you can also go ahead, shade outside and contain, just to try to ensure that you actually do engage with the center. I'm pretty sure that does help a little bit, but really you just have these outside guys screaming. Usually what I like to, especially against bunch, shade to the outside. That's going to give that left of screen cornerback better leverage, and if you want to keep him pressed, then you can. He's less likely to get burnt, especially if you go ahead shade over the top as well. Now I'll just max protect here, and let's go ahead and snap the ball. You guys see there, I actually wasn't able to engage with the center, but I'm still able to engage with the running back. So if you don't engage with the center, you might actually want to back up, just because the risk of getting burnt, especially in man coverage, is way higher rather than zone coverage. There's a lot of people who go to their man coverage beaters, and they might actually be able to hit you if they get that much time. If you absolutely need the blitz to come through, you could bump the running back, but like I said, really you're trying to engage with the center or any offensive lineman in general. It does take practice. I haven't ran this formation for very long, but again, just going over this pinch bucko setup. It's going to be just blitz all linebackers, contain, and then I'm going to go ahead press, and then press again. Basically just press twice. Usually that'll do the job. If they're not there, then I guess just continue to do press. Usually if you do like 3 times or whatever, it will eventually work. Now, usually I kind of like to put my center on a blitz, or my user on a blitz, just because I feel like he automatically blitzes. It might help with the engage a little bit. Anything to help really is what you want to do. Again, my adjustments in this particular case would be shade to the outside and go ahead shade over the top. There you guys see my user actually moved back, but just getting sort of this hover animation where he has that 1 foot forward, the same animation that these middle linebackers are in. And then let's go ahead and snap the ball. There you guys see perfectly engaged with the center. So the move definitely might be just to engage or blitz your user. I feel like that definitely did help. Again, I'll just show it a couple more times before we head into our next play. Max protect on offense. Now I'm just blitzing all linebackers, containing, pressing, and then pressing again. There you guys saw actually the right of screen middle linebacker went in the gap first, followed by the left screen linebacker, but you don't have to wait for them to do it. You can just quickly spam it twice and it should do the job. Again, shade to the outside, shade over the top. If you want, you could manually move them back like this, but then they have a way higher rate of just throwing a slant. I like to keep them pressed so that they can't throw a slant or an out route, especially in my man coverage team. Again, I'm just going to manually blitz this free safety. Obviously, we're not actually blitzing. We're trying to engage and then back up and user. Snap the ball. There I messed up. I didn't blitz immediately, but it didn't end up mattering. We still ended up getting pressure. I didn't even really engage, because if you do sort of hover, then you can actually get pressure. You don't have to engage. So you guys see I'm just hovering. I'm sort of just running around. I never actually engage with anybody though. I sort of just pull down that running back actually, which is what ultimately opens up this player off the edge, Dante Fowler. So that could definitely be something you keep in mind. I'm not actually sure what happened to Corey Littleton. He sort of glitched, but tons of glitchy stuff happened. We'll see if we can actually get 7-man pressure just hovering. You kind of want to just sit in that gap a little bit if you're going to hover and not actually engage. So again, there we go. Set up the blitz and then blitz our user. I'm not going to do any of that outside adjustments. I'm just going to go ahead, sort of sit in the gap right here like this. Snap the ball. You guys see I'm sort of just sitting in the gap. I barely engage, if at all. We're getting pressure, so you might not even be able to get the ball off just because of how long those throwing motions take. But let's go ahead. Let's get into the next play. There, unfortunately, the player actually, our middle linebacker, actually did show up in the gap. The one play that I'm switching play calls, but it's perfectly fine. Let's go into this outside linebacker strike 2. It's going to be the same exact setup. The only difference is that we're in a zone coverage base, cover 2 shell, and we can actually do a lot of different adjustments that I'm going to go over. So let's just come out and like flood. Now, again, what I might do is probably going to base the line here. I'm going to blitz all linebackers and contain, and then I'm just going to press, and then I'm pressing again. Now, in this outside linebacker strike 2, you see that this linebacker is actually going to show up in the middle gap. That's just an adjustment that you kind of have to deal with. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to engage with the center because of that, so you can keep that in mind. You can actually try to engage with this left tackle here, and I feel like it's definitely a higher rate to do that. So let's go ahead. Let's max protect on offense. Now, in a setup like this, out of gun bunch, what I like to do is min up this outside receiver anyway, because if they do streak them, there's always the off chance that they engage or that they can burn you. So, or just put it like a streak, maybe a deep post. And since we're using this free safety, we can't really defend any of that. So I'm also going to go ahead and usually leave this zone base on the right. What I might do is also I'm going to shade over the top and outside. Now, if I could always just go ahead, put Jalen Ramsey back on a soft squat, but he's still going to play over the top a little bit more because we did that shade. You could go ahead and manually back him up if you want to defend the corner routes a little bit better, but I'm also going to manually blitz my user. Let's go ahead and snap the ball. You guys see I engage with the center. We do get pressure. Now, it's not as clean. I will be the first to say that. It's not as clean as the pinch bucko because of that linebacker showing up in the gap. That's something that you have to deal with, unfortunately, with the play. So let's just go ahead, come out in our setup again. Not pinch those linebackers. I didn't mean to do that. Blitz all linebackers, contain, Then I'm actually going to base a line. And there you see the player actually goes in the gap. So you might have to wait to base a line before you blitz all linebackers. I'm not sure what the difference is. Forgive me on that one. But here I actually am able to get in the gap here. Go ahead. Snap the ball. You guys see perfect engagement. We get people screaming off the edge. That was only a 6-man pressure though. So let's go ahead, try that again here. We're going to actually just blitz all linebackers, contain, and then we're going to go ahead, press, and then base a line, press. I'm not even sure what I just did. But there we go. You end up getting him in the gap. Like I said, it's very wacky. But eventually, those players will glitch. Like this cover 2 is very glitchy. We still get 2-man pressure on a 6-man protection. Let's go ahead, max protect here now. Usually the setup I like just going to is just going to be blitz all linebackers, contain, and then followed by a base line, and then a press. That's going to get those 2 guys in the gap. You guys see that guy's in the middle gap, so you're probably going to have to use her here. You pretty much want to use her that bunch side anyway, so that's just the thing that I like to do. Again, I'm going to man up X on X, and I might just shade to the outside, take away any quick routes. Go ahead and snap the ball. You guys see I'm still able to engage with that guy. We get Dante Fowler screaming off the edge. So overall, just a super great blitz. That's pretty much going to do it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well for some more Madden 20 content in the future. Follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. And peace. I'm out of here.